So welcome to lesson 149, guys. Hopefully I do this with great skill and ease for you because I have already done lesson 149, 50, 51, 52. No, not 52 because that was a test. 53 and 54. And then found out somehow I messed it up and there was no picture. So Ron, when he went to go put them all on YouTube on Thursday night, informed me that all my math lessons, except for 148, did not have a picture. And I was pretty distressed about that because I had just spent about 6 hours doing language and then the 6th grade math videos. So I just said, well, it's not going to do me any good to get upset. And it looks like I'm not going anywhere anyway. So we will do this on Friday morning. And I apologize, Judson, if these didn't get to you in time. But hopefully you'll be able to use them. I'll get through 154, I think, again today. So today we're going to do 149. It is the opposite of what we did the previous lesson. Previous lesson was Celsius to Fahrenheit, I believe. Yes. And so today is Fahrenheit to Celsius. Here's our formula up top here. Just to remember, I'll write the formula one time right here. So the Fahrenheit formula started out with Fahrenheit equals. So we do the opposite. Celsius equals. That one was 9/5. This one will be just the opposite. That one was Fahrenheit. This will be Celsius. That was minus. This will be plus. That one was plus. This one will be minus. Sorry. Getting confused here already. And I'm not even tired yet. And then you subtract 32. You done?
Yeah.
Okay, good. How'd it go?
Good.
Good to know. All right. And then we put parentheses around it. The reason they do that, had they not put parentheses around it, you would have followed order of operations, and you would have done the 5/9 times the C first, and then subtracted 32. Which is what you did in the Fahrenheit formula. You did 9/5 times the Fahrenheit. Times the Celsius. And I just saw another error. How's that? Okay. So they put the parentheses around it, telling you to do that part first. Because remember, order of operations, parentheses gets priority over everything else. All right. So here's our formula. We have 104 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're going to take that 104 degrees and we're going to subtract it from 32 to begin with. All right. And that would be 72. I get 72. At that point, then we would multiply that by the 5/9. So it's 72/1 times 5/9. Right now they're keeping this nice and easy for us. So this will cross cancel and we're left with 40. And I know you did this last year and you may have even done it the year before, so this is not totally new to you. All right, next one. First we're going to take the Fahrenheit and subtract 32, and that one's pretty easy. 50 minus 32 is 18. At that point, we're going to multiply that by 5/9. And now we're left with 10. Now we have 176 degrees. We're going to take away 32 degrees. First, we have 144. Then we're going to multiply it by 5/9. 144 does go into 9 because if you add up those digits, 4, 4, and 1, that's a 9. So the whole thing must go into 9. 9 goes into 14 one time with 5 left over. And then 9 goes into 54 6 times. So now I'm left with 16 times 5. And I get 80. Okay. All right, let's look at the story problem. The directions for cookies said to bake at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Give that temperature in Celsius units to the nearest whole degree. All right, So you might want to use a piece of scrap paper because obviously they're not giving you any room. I'm going to use these little blank spots. And in fact, what I'll do is just erase everything and I'll use up top. All right, so let's look at our formula. I'm going to write my formula one more time just to get it in my head. 5/9 F minus 32. All right, so I'm going to do 32 from the Fahrenheit first. So I do 375. I get 343. Is that what you get? At that point, we're going to take 343 over 1. We are going to multiply it by 5/9. And there's a reason why they said rounding it to the nearest degree, because it's not going to come out even. 9 does not go into 343 because if you add up those digits, you get 10. But I'm going to go down here at the bottom and I'm going to do, what I'm going to do is 343 times 5 first. If I can write my numbers correctly. I get 1715. Let's see, 343 times 5. I'm just rechecking my work. All right. I don't know why I had that 1 there. Sorry. 15, 21. Oh, because 3 times 5 is 15 plus 2 is 17. Okay. So I have 1715 over 9 now, right? At this point, I'm going to divide. I'm going to get rid of all this because it confuses me. I'm easily confused. So we're going to set up this problem. 1,715 divided by 9. And it's going to go into the decimal. They warned us that it will. Oh, here it is right here, the whole degree. They warned us that it will. So once we get into the decimal, we'll go one place into the decimal, into the tenths, and we'll see if that rounds our number up or keeps it the same. 9 goes into 17 one time, and that'll be 8. Now 9 goes into 81 9 times. At that point, I have 0. I'm going to bring down the 5, but 9 still cannot go into the 5. So I need to put a 0. At this point, I'm going to put a decimal, and I'm going to add a 0 after that 5. Now I have 50. 9 into 50 would be 6 times, right? No, that's too big. 5 times. That would be 45. And at this point, I can just quit because I have the number up top. And the 5, I know, rounds my 0 up to a 1. So I'm going to round it to the nearest whole number, which is 190 degrees Celsius. And we are going to have to do that with several of these problems afterwards. So just be prepared that they're not going to divide evenly. It'd be nice, but they don't. All right. We're going back to Fahrenheit. Here's our formula. So at this point, the first thing we do is the 9 over 5 times the Celsius. So do 9 over 5 times the 25. This one works nice for us. I get 45. Is that what you get? And then add the 32. I get 77, and I am correct. Hopefully you did too. All right, let's do the next one. So the first thing I'm going to do is do the 9 over 5 times the Celsius, which is 24. That does not divide evenly. So I'm going to have to do 9 times 24. I'm going to do it down here. I get 216 divided by 5, right? So I'll just save myself some room here. Get rid of that. Make this a division problem and do divided by 5. All right. 5 into 21 is 4 times with 1 left over. Bring down the 6. 5 into 16 is 3 times. That would be 15. And I have a 1. Let's add the decimal. Put a 0 down there. 5 does go into 10 perfectly as a 2. But we want to take this to the nearest degree. The 2 will not round the 43 up. It'll keep it as a 43. So we'll take that 43 and add it to 32. I get 75, and I am correct. Okay. All right, C. We're going to do 9 over 5 times the C first. Oops, 76. All right, that does not cross cancel, so I'm going to have to do 76 times 9. 68, right? 68 divided by 5. So use a pencil, just erase this part. All right, 5 into 6 one time. I don't have much room here. I'm going to have to get really short. 5 into 18 3 times. And that's a 15. I'm just going to bring the 3 over here, carry down the 9. 5 into 39 7 times. Now I have 4. Now I only need to go one place, add a 0. 5 into 40, 8, and that came out perfect. So I have 137.8. That 0.8 will round that up to 138. And at that point, I add 32. This is pretty darn hot. 100. Oh, how come? Oh, they get 169. What did I do wrong? Why didn't they round that? Did I do something in my division wrong? I probably did. Let me relook it. Let me relook at it because it's going to drive me crazy. So I did 76 times 9, right? Let me make sure I have that right. 63 plus 5 is 68. So I have, oh, that's where I went wrong. Yep. Did you see this? See, I always yell at you guys for writing so you don't understand it. I mistook that for a 9 and it was actually a 4. So this would have been a 4. So that would have been 5 goes into 34 6 times. And then that would have rounded up to 137. So I made an error because I was writing too sloppy. So there you go. There's a good example why we don't write sloppy, because I messed up my number. Because in the world of math, one number is a big difference, unless we're measuring angles or something and we give ourselves a little leeway. All right. Let's go down to solve for x. Now, the only one that has any issue is B. The rest should be pretty easy for you. So I'm going to do B with you, okay? The problem with B is that x, do you see how x is on the bottom of that fraction? We don't want it like that. And there's several ways you can do this. We want x on top. So if you ever see x on the bottom, work towards getting it at the top as soon as possible. And I will show you how I can get that on top right away. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write the problem right here. You can write the problem. Just do this with me. Okay? The order of how you do this is not so important. So somebody else, if you ask somebody else to help you with this, they might do it in a different order. It's not important. The important thing is that we want x by itself. What we put on one side, we have to put on the other side. That's the important things. And also know that we want x to eventually be on top as a whole number, okay? We want to know what that number is. So what I'm going to do, watch what I do right away. So if this is x at 5 divided by x, I'm going to times it by x. Just like I would if that had been a number. If I timesed it, then I would get rid of it. Okay? So over here, you're timesing by x. And I need to keep my page up. I'm going to times it. I'll just write this like this, which you don't really have to write that in the future. So now what I have now, this is gone. Okay? Do you see how that's gone? Over here, I'm left with just 5. Now over here, I have 6 times x over 23, or divided by 23. Now at this point, I'm working towards getting x by itself. The problem with these is they're not giving you enough room, and it really bugs me. So use a piece of scrap paper, and I'm gonna rewrite this up higher because I want you to see it. And I had this problem before. I almost wish I could write down in the white, and I cannot. All right, so I'm gonna go up here. So my problem is 5x, 5 divided by x equals, let me get rid of this, equals 6 divided by 23. I can't seem to write correctly. All right, so what I'm doing first is I'm going to times this by x, and I'm going to times this by x. So now I have 5 equals 6x divided by 23. All right, are you with me? That's what we have so far. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this. This is what we're going to get rid of next. So we're going to work towards getting everything off the bottom. So now we're going to times by 23, because the opposite of divided by 23 is times 23. So therefore this side needs to be times by 23. All right? You have never done this before, I don't think. So at this point, this is gone. Do you see how this is gone? And on this side, you only have 6x. This side will be 23 times 5, which is 15, carry the 1, 11. I get 115. Now, divide. And to make life even more difficult for you, they're going to make it so it doesn't come out even. So now this is gone, and I'm left with x. So I'm getting to where I need to be. Now I know that x equals 115 over 6. At this point, I'm going to leave it as an improper fraction just because I need to check it, okay? And I need to make sure it works. So what we have is we have 5 divided by 115 over 6. And you're saying, oh my goodness, Mrs. Kenny, I've never seen this. I get it. Okay, so this is what you have. That's why I was always saying, think of these lines right here as meaning divided by. It'll help you tremendously. So if I'm looking at this side and I say 5 divided by 115 over 6, well, think about something you've already learned. 5 divided by 115 over 6. You've seen that, haven't you? Let's put this over 1. And what do? Don't we flip it and make it into a multiplication problem? Well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn it into multiplication and put the 6 on top and the 115 on the bottom. Now let's check it, okay? Multiply it. So I get 1 here, I get 23 down here. These both are 1s, so they're just like nothing. Anything times 1 doesn't do anything. I'm left with 6 divided by 23. So this side over here equals 6 divided by 23. And guess what? That's what you have on the other side. So down here you could write, so down here if you were continuing your problem, to check it, you would write 5 divided by 115 over 6 equals 6 over 23, the original problem, with the x now being 115 over 6. When we solve the problem over here, we find out that this right here ends up being 6 over 23, which is what we have over here. Crazy problem, wasn't it? But the more you do them, the easier they get. All right, let us go to the other side, because I have a Zoom meeting in a half hour with other teachers at school, and I want to get at least one lesson in before I have that meeting. All right, so we have review up here, and I will do a little bit of, oh, wait. Before I go on, that's the wrong lesson. I keep doing that. There we go. All right. I don't know if you hear Ryden outside laughing. He's with Ron. All right, find the areas of these. I'll just review with you. So the area of a circle is pi times the radius squared. They gave us the diameter. So what is the radius? 10, right? So you're going to do 3.14 times 10 squared, which that's 100. Area of a rectangle is just the length times the width. So turn these into improper fractions and multiply them. Area of a triangle is the base times the height times half. And my little trick is one of them even? The base is not even, but the height is even. So I can just half that right off the bat and make it a 5, right? Then you can just do 17 times 5. You'll get the same answer as if you did 17 times 10 and then half it. Area of a parallelogram is just the base times the height. And they say height because remember the parallelos, they have those slanted sides, which are a little bit longer than the height. Completing the chart down below, you're doing the area and the acres. Ooh, this is kind of tricky, and I can't remember that number. So I'm gonna have to cheat and look at my book here to help you with this. All right, so let's figure it out first. So the area, we can do the area even enough. These are just rectangles. So the area is the length times the width, right? So we are going to do 412 times 200. All right, and pretty much I can just do 412 times 2, which just double it, which would be 824, right? And then add 2 zeros. All right, so my area in square feet is 82,400 feet squared. What I can't remember, and I'm going to have to look here and remember, and you guys probably do remember, and I don't remember because I don't have it memorized. 82,400 square feet. I got to convert that to acres. So how many square feet make an acre? That's the term I can't remember. Is it 43,560? Yes, that's what it looks like it is. So at this point, we have to take 82,400 and divide it by the measurement that we're supposed to have memorized that I don't have memorized, which is how many square feet make a square mile or make an acre. And that's 43,560. I'm going to get rid of this right here, just so I just see this part. Okay? So the question is, what's that answer? Well, I'm going to write it here. I'm going to write it down here. 82,400 divided by 43,560. All right, twice would be too big. So I know it's 1. But they want us to round it to the nearest whole acre. So we need to know whether we're going to round it up or not. So this is 43560. Lots of big numbers here. But we can do it. All right. I think they reduced it first, so the number didn't have to be so big, and I didn't. We should have. Why didn't I? Oh, well, let's finish it, and then I'll show you what you could have done so you didn't have big numbers. You might be thinking, Mrs. Kenny, you should have reduced it first. You're right. Let's add another 0. So how many 4s will go into 38? Well, let's say 9. Let's see what happens. 4, 3, 5, 6, 0 times 9. 45, 50, 27, 32, 36, 39. Oh, that's too big. So it must be 8 because it was too big. All right, but at that point, because I'm doing whole numbers, I have 1.8. And 1.8 will round up to 2. Now, I could have made my life easier. I totally forgot. I'm always telling you to reduce if you can. Make your numbers smaller if you can. Get rid of zeros if you can. And then I totally forgot to do that. So one thing I can do is this. I can get rid of those, right? And at that point, I'm down into the thousands. Beyond that, they're both even. So I could half them both. So half of 8,000 is 4,000. Half of 24, so let's see, would be 4,000, and then 240 would be 120. That's what I want to do. Let's half the bottom number. Half of 4,000 is 2,000. Half of 300 is 150. Half of 50 is 25. Half of 6 is 3. So I have 178. Still even, so I can keep going. And I'm not going to take the time to do it, but I see in my book that they kept going. They must have halved it again. Yeah, I think if we half it again, we'll be good. 4,000 half of 120 is 60. Half of 2,000 is 1,000. Half of 100 is 50. Half of 70 is 35. Half of 8 is 4. Add it all up, 89. And at that point, you could have divided with a smaller number. Okay? Let's do the next one together, just because that was a little hairy. All right. And I don't know if I helped you with all my jumbling around like that. All right, here we go. So the area, first of all, is the length times the width. That's the easy part, which is 295. Actually, it's 362 times 295. I'm being technical. I'm putting the length first. And we're going to multiply 10, 31, 18, 18, 54, 55, 27, 28. Look at that, me making numbers crazy. 2 is 4, 12, and 7. 9, 17, 10, 12, 10. 102,790. And at this point, it's being divided by the 43,560. We can make it smaller. They're not both even. We can see if they can both go into 3. Let's see, I have 10 and 7 is 10 and 9 is 19. So they don't both go into 3. So I think at this point, we just have to divide 4. Okay. 4 goes into 10 twice. So 4, 3, 5, 6. Because 4 would be, remember doing estimating numbers? Twice. Whoops, I don't know where that came from. I did not do that. It's crazy. Yeah. It's always a trick writing on this. It's such a different experience. 10, 11, 6, 7, 8. 8,712. And that was twice, right? Let's subtract. Sorry. I think I subtracted something wrong. I'm sorry, I'm coughing. What did I do wrong? 8,000. Oh, so here's 1,000. No, I did something wrong up here, I think. I should have gotten 106,790. So I messed up somewhere up here, didn't I? Did you disagree with me? Let me get rid of this because this isn't going to work. You'd think the second time around I would get it perfectly, but these are big numbers, aren't they? It's crazy. And I didn't leave myself much room up here to carry, and that was probably part of my problem. And maybe I didn't understand that number. Maybe I didn't write it correctly. So I'm going to redo that, get rid of that, and let's see. So 10, 31, 18. I think that's correct. Yep. I messed up in the second row. I can see I messed up in the second row. So that's 18, 54, 55. Oh, 27 plus 5 is 27 plus 5 is not 28. Whoops. It's 32. Maybe you'll be comforted in the fact that I mess up too. I did that on purpose so you'd feel better. That's my story and I'm sticking with it. So this is 13, 17. And so at this point, this changes. And because I know it, I know this is going to change. This is a 6 and everything else will stay the same. Okay. Now we have 106 divided by that. How's that? Oh, sorry. I apologize. That's 16, 17, 23 does still not go into 3 though, so we're not going to divide it. So we have 4, 3, 5, 6, and that will go into 10679. And it's still going to be twice. And that's going to be 8712. All right, here we go. Now I agree with the book. Okay. 4 goes into 19 3 times, right? 4 times? Yeah. Let's try 4, 3, 5. Actually, this 2, in keeping with still messing up, this 2 should actually be here. Whoops. You don't need that X there. Okay. And what did I say? 4 goes into 19 4 times. Let's see if it works. 22, 12, 13, 14. This is why they make calculators. All right, 17424. I'm good. And I'm going to subtract. I get 2,000. At that point, let's see, I've got that 4. I have one place after the decimal, and I don't need to go any farther, right? So up here, we started with what? 106,790 feet squared. And then 2.4 just rounds to 2. So this still says 2 acres. Okay. Wow. That was crazy. All right. Did I mess you up or did I help? I hope I helped. All right. I'm going to leave you to the rest of it, mostly because I've just spent 30 some minutes on this lesson and that's plenty of time. So see how you do on the rest. And you'd probably do better without me with what I've been doing. Have a good day, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.